Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, and we're just jumping right into things. In yesterday's episode, we featured a really cool tournament-winning Spectrier team, so thank you to the creator. Once again, you can find them on Twitter in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste stand. Let's just get started with today's episode. Going up against a top 50 ranked opponent using a really cool rain team here, so it's got like opposite ends of the speed spectrum, right? You've got Dusclops for potential Trick Room, Bulldoze into Metagross, and then you also have Politoed Kingdra as an apparent duo, Regieleki for just good speed control across the board. I think the one upside here is that there aren't many resists to Spectrier, the only one really being the Incineroar. But with Incineroar, we have a bunch of nice answers. But the question is really what I want to lead with here. Like, I feel like Spectrier, Rillaboom, Clef all want to come out here, right? Regieleki is nice. I mean, they don't have great electric resists, but if they just lead like Poly Kingdra, that might hurt my Regieleki. One interesting combo is actually maybe go Regieleki Clef, Spectrier in Rillaboom. I don't think we bring Incineroar here until the rain matchup, although Assurance damage is kind of nice. I don't know. Just a lot of attackers I don't really want to go up against. Urshifu's not bad here. Surging Strikes and Rain's really going to hurt a lot of my opponent's Pokemon, but I feel like it doesn't help out very much against the rain matchup specifically, so yeah. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, I want to know, out of the competitive mechanics we've seen being introduced in the last couple of generations, Mega Evolutions, Dynamax, Z-Moves, Crystals, which of those do you like the most? Let me know. Or Gems, I should say, not Crystals. Let me know in the comments below. Regieleki Incineroar. Okay. This isn't that great, right? Because they can just go Fake Out onto my Regieleki. If your Specs Electro Ball, that could be a really big problem. So, I think my play terminal is actually just Protect Clefairy. Yeah. I am just going to Webs here and Protect. I think it's likely you probably just Fake Out the Regieleki here because it's so safe, and then Regieleki can go for either an Electro Web of its own, or Volt Switch, or even Electric Ball into Clefairy. Yep. So, I could have maybe switched Regieleki out into Spectrier there. That could have been interesting. They're just going to go for Webs, which honestly I'm okay with. Like, I think seeing Electro Ball would have been a little bit more concerning there. I wonder if I just want to, like, Helping Hand Volt Switch here. But I'm also down to Electro Web. Yeah, Helping Hand Electro Web seems okay here. The Friend Guard's obviously valuable for us right now. I wonder what item they have. They just go for another Electro Web. I don't know what the calc is on, like, if there's specs onto us, but that doesn't look like specs damage, so I don't think it's specs. Okay, is the Incineroar faster than us now? It's still not, no. This should do a nice chunk. Wow, it's a very nice chunk onto both. The fact he did more to Regieleki than Incineroar is hilarious. I think that might be AV Incineroar then. Oh, and they have Assurance as well. Wow. Interesting that this is something that's like picking up in usage. Okay. Well, that's okay, I think, right? Because I can just go out into Spectrier now. With Spectrier, I can just Dynamax it and max... I'd rather Phantasm or Quake. My other question is how fast the opposing Spectrier is. But it's pretty safe here, I think, to Dynamax. Is there any reason to Quake or Strike? Yeah, special defense boosts help out a lot against what's in the back, right? Okay. Okay, did they have a switch into Max Quake? No, they don't have a ground resist or immune. So I think it's Dynamax, just Quake here into Regieleki, and Follow Me. Just to play it safe. I think that's okay. Because the Incineroar is not doing much in front of us right now. Single special defense boost is really valuable for both of these Pokemon if you do have Poly Kingdra in the back. And if it's like Dusclops Metagross, they're going to be in really bad shape. Incineroar switches out too, which I'm okay with. And it is Politoed. Okay. So that means it's going to be Rain in the back most likely. Now Incineroar may be a problem for us because of its ability to pressure the Rillaboom. So I'm kind of nervous about that. But if I can KO the Regieleki here, not only do I get a boost... I mean, I should KO. Oh, unless they are faster and they Volt Switch into Kingdra. That would be a really big brain play. Either way, maybe we could have just led Spectre in this game, but I didn't want to into a potential Politoed Kingdra combo. I think that was kind of scary. Okay, so let's see how fast they are. We're going to go Follow Me. Follow Me is just always the safest play here. I don't know if we outspeed max speed Alecki, but we get the Quake off, which is good. Okay, huge. So that's really good, because we get a special defense boost on both, which means even if you bring in Kingdra and Dynamax it, now it's in kind of an awkward spot. Because I can just go Helping Hand Phantasm now into the Kingdra slot, I think. And I would think that one-shots, but I'm not sure. You have to bring in Kingdra right now. I mean, if it's Metagross, Dusclops, or you bring the Incineroar back in, like, you just do no damage, and Spectrier just wins off being so offensive. Rillaboom's obviously very good for the late game against Politoed, not as much against the Incineroar, though. So the problem is that, like, Incineroar has not been KO'd yet. I think it's AV Incin with Assurance, but not 100% sure on that yet. Just based off the fact Helping Hand Specs Electro Web only did like 40% though. Makes me think it's AV. Yeah, so there's Kingdra, no surprise there. Kingdra. I have Rillaboom in the back. We have +1 Spit Def. Okay, my only question here is basically whether or not Helping Hand Max Phantasm one-shots Kingdra. Because if it does, that's really what I want to go for. I would think so. Like, because we have the +1 boost as well. It's +1 Life Orb and Helping Hand. And this is Spectre we're talking about. So I think that's what I'm just going to go for. Try to nuke the Kingdra. But the other play I was thinking about was like protecting Clef and just going for a Phantasm to try to KO the Politoed. Was that a better play, actually? It really may have been, because Kingdra could max guard here. I think that's actually pretty likely. Oh, they're just Helping Handing. Okay, that works for me, I think, because you shouldn't knock out the Spectrier, that's for sure. Maybe you knock out Clefairy, but trading Clefairy for Kingdra would more than be worth it. So there's Max Geyser, yep. Okay, into Spectrier. Yeah, we take that, nice. That's huge, because I think we just KO in return here. Even if not, I can just follow me this next turn. Nice, let's go Spectrier. And this is the upside of Spectrier, right? There's just very few Pokemon in the format can reliably resist Ghost to begin with, but then when you add Max Strike and Quake onto the table as well, it's just really, really hard. So now it's basically a guaranteed win, right? Because unless you have Protect on Incineroar, but you bring in Incineroar, I can just Helping Hand Max Quake. That's always a super safe play. The Helping Hand goes off before a potential Fake Out. We already have the special attack boost as well, so Incineroar should definitely be going down here. So, yeah. I mean, my opponent needed to KO the Spectre, then I guess they were hoping for a critical hit. Maybe they forgot about the boost that we got as well. So, we're in a very favorable position now. It's always just Helping Hand Quake here into Incineroar. The one thing I'd have to consider here in this late game is a potential Parasong from Politoed, but I don't really think that's a problem because we have the Pokemon advantage. Hypnosis is another potential, like, you know, attack to watch out for, but yeah, Spectre was just the MVP here. But I had to be careful, right? I don't think I could have just easily let it here because Poly Kingdra against a Spectrier as a lead could be pretty scary because you could just go for like Helping Hand Geysers, and I needed to get a KO onto Spectrier so that I get that special attack boost because after a single boost, this thing destroys. But before, you're a little bit more reliant on Helping Hand. But if you can combine the two, obviously, it's super, super good. So Skull comes out, but even if you crit there, you know, we have Rillaboom in the back, but no crit, no burn, and that will be the game. So, yeah, Spectre was phenomenal for us once again here. So, job well done. Job well done. I don't think I've seen Hyper Beam's animation yet, so I kind of want to just go for it. With Rillaboom in the back, obviously, it's over against Politoed, but they're just going to end up forfeiting. Okay. Yeah, I think the main upside in that one was using Regieleki early game to control the speed, and then getting Spectre out in a really safe position, because I think that's a good lesson on, like, positioning in general. Often, you know, when you use a team like this that revolves very heavily around one Pokemon Dynamaxing, you'll be tempted to just lead it and Dynamax it, which makes a lot of sense, but the upside is if you can kind of weather the early game and then save it for the late game, it can pay off really, really big. So, yeah, I think Spectrier has been really phenomenal in using it. I'd say the things that I kind of am scared about when in Team Preview are either Tailwind, like anything that can ensure my opponent outspeed Spectre, right? So either Tailwind or just Pokemon are faster, like opposing Regielekis or Dragapults. That Game 3 yesterday was a really, really tough matchup, but this is a cool team. Regicel, Steelos have to worry about potential Volt Switch to activate Weakness Policy. Dracovish, Fini, T-Tar, and Entei. Okay. So, I think if we can KO the Raichu, Regieleki actually does so much damage into my opponent's team. So that should be one of the primary focuses, in my opinion. The question is whether or not I want to lead Spectrier. Like, Spectrier Clefairy works here, but what am I worried about? Maybe the Tyranitar? Urshifu's pretty interesting damage-wise here. Anytime I see a Celesteela, like, Celesteela is just one of those bulky steals you have to respect and, like, ask yourself, like, how do I beat it? What would I bring if I were my opponent? And what if my opponent just leads Celesteela plus Raichu immediately? Would that be a problem? Maybe. I think I'm probably going to go Incineroar Spectrier here, Alecki in the back. And I think I want to go for full offense here, no Clefairy, because Clef is just not good into Celesteela, but it's a question of Rillaboom or Urshifu. That one's interesting. I mean, Rillaboom does really well into Dracovish, Feeny, like the middle four. Do you have these? Yeah, I'm already bringing enough Celesteela answers, right? It's just the Entei scares me a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna bring Rillaboom, though. Actually, one thing I should be considering more is leading Rillaboom, because, like, this Rillaboom has Fake Out and Protect. It's not Choice Banded, so the combination of that means I can actually use it as a Fake Out user more effectively than your average Rillaboom, especially because most Rillabooms don't carry Protect nowadays, because you're either AV or Banded. This one actually has Protect. Entei Celesteela. Okay, is that a problem? I think it's okay for us. I mean, get Max Quake. I guess the problem here... Ooh, Air Balloon. Interesting. Well, I don't think I'm that worried about Air Balloon, right? Because I can just Fake Out the Entei to break the balloon and Phantasm it. Alternatively, I can kind of just Flare Blitz Celesteela, max this, and just Phantasm and KO it, especially because I think that might Dynamax. Is that risky? Entei's got to worry about a Fake Out here, too, right? Kind of want to double up on a Celesteela, because if it Dynamaxes and we just pick up a KO turn one as Entei protects, we just insta-win the game. In this position, I would consider protecting with Entei, because you don't want to get hit by a Fake Out to break the Air Balloon. But maybe they are like they're not even worried about Max Quake to begin with. So, let's see. The thing is, Phantasm Flare Blitz double up will KO the Celesteela. But they could Dynamax Celesteela, go like Airstream and Snarl into us. That could be kind of bad. Wow. They protected Celesteela. But not Entei. What a phenomenal read. I mean, because I think it was a really safe play for me to double up onto Entei with like Fake Out Phantasm there. So that was not what I was expecting the slightest. Okay, really nice play there. I think it's still okay though. I mean, Entei probably Snarls here. Maybe Sacred Fire. They are going to Snarl. Spectre actually dodges it. That's a huge dodge. But I'm shocked at that Protect. That's a really good Protect. And I guess they respected, you know, the potential max options, so job well done on there, and like have to give them credit there, and we got lucky to get in a void there. They don't, well, they do, actually, I was going to say they don't have fire resist, but literally 4 of their 6 Pokemon resist fire, so it's kind of a troll statement. I'm down to Max Strike and Assurance into Entei now. I guess the question is whether or not Instant outspeeds after a Max Strike, but yeah, they switch out Celesteela, that's expected. But getting that chip damage is pretty nice to begin the game. And offensive Incineroar, by the way, is amazing in this match for us, because it has close combat for Tyranitar and Flare Blitz for the Celesteela. So let's say they protected. They did not protect, which is really good. So we get a base 150 power Max Strike off. That's so much damage. Unfortunately, we don't pick up the KO, so no special attack boost, but that's fine. This is the beauty of running Assurance. Okay, our balloon is gone. They are still faster, unfortunately, but that's okay. Given that they were faster, did I have a better play? No, I still like Max Striking there because it brings down the speed of anything switching in. So now, you know, we probably outspeed the Tyranitar, which is really valuable. And have close combat. So I don't think the first turn miss really mattered, because I'm pretty sure Assurance plus Sand was still picking up the KO onto Entei anyway. We just had a really good offensive lead here, but maybe, I mean, obviously, if my opponent hit that, they might have changed how they played. It was a really good Protect on Celesteela turn 1, because like I was super close to just going for Fake Out Phantasm onto Entei turn 1. If I go for that, that's probably just a KO, right? It's so hard to come back from that. So expected the speeds to be swapped a little bit. They bring out Dracovish. Okay, so this is a big deal, right? Because they reveal that they do not have anything faster than... Who do you Dynamax here? I'm going to go out on a Rillaboom here. Yeah, I want to conserve the Intimidate, and honestly, I think just going for a Phantasm on a Dracovish is fine here. Actually, they could just Scarf. If you're Scarf Dracovish, I guess you could just Vicious Ren into us right now. Actually, going to Rillaboom and going for Phantasm is really safe here, right? Yeah, unless Scarf Dracovish one-shot Spectrier, but I don't think it does. So it's like, because of that, I get the defense drop on a Tyranitar, which means I can just Woodhammer you, or Close Combat, or Grassy Glide. Like, any physical attack works. And Regieleki just wins us this endgame if I KO the Dracovish, because then I can just Webs. And that should KO Celesteela at this point. And maybe not KO, but it's like 50-60%ish. So I think you max Tyranitar here. You're going to Scarf Dracovish, you just Vicious Ren into the Incineroar slot. Max Darkness into the Spectrier slot. Now that is a cool play. But I don't mind that, right? Obviously, I'm not KOing Dracovish anymore, but I have so much offense right now. Wait, how are they faster? Am I missing something here? Was my speed dropped? No, they're Life Orb. Aren't we Modest Max? Like, how is a Dracovish outspeeding us there? I'm slightly confused. Wait, what happened on turn 1? Fake Out, Snarl, I Max Strike. They didn't lower our speed, right? Oh, it's Sand Rush, obviously, yeah. I actually totally forgot about that, just because I haven't gone up against one of these in the new format yet. That's pretty cool. That actually could be a kind of a big problem for us, maybe. Yeah, that actually may legitimately be a problem. Oh, I didn't think about that at all. Because I was like, I totally forgot that now Dracovish has access to that. Okay, we can bring out Incineroar. I mean, we got a defense drop on both of my opponent's Pokemon, which is good, right? And I have Woodhammer, so like, I can just bring out Incineroar, get an Intimidate off. I don't even know if you KO us with Geyser. Like, I think we double up onto Dracovish here, honestly. But I guess you could max score Dracovish, switch Tyranitar into Celesteela. That'd be a really sick play. Yeah, I'm down to just glide into Dracovish here and go for an Assurance. Because we, like, Rillaboom or Incin will win the 1v1 against Tyranitar in the late game. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Sandrush Dracovish. That's really cool. That is really cool. And maybe I should have played better around that then. What else? How would I have changed my play in this game then? Nice, okay. There's no reason to target Tyranitar there. Your Tyranitar is just not doing much damage into me right now. Okay, so we get Glide off. That's so much damage. Very nice. And they Geyser. Yeah, the Glide is just a safe play. And actually, I think that wins us the game. Because now, I don't even know if this KOs. No, it does actually manage to pick up the KO. Nice. Now I can just Glide. Also, you're not fast anymore, right? You just set up the rain. So Regieleki can now just click Electro Web. I guess the one problem is that I probably don't want to miss Electro Web right now. So, how does my opponent get out of this? You have to switch Tyranitar out into Celesteela and then protect the Dracovish. I don't think we risk missing any webs right now. I think we just go for Glide onto the Dracovish and Thunderbolt into T-Tar. And with Rain being up, I would think Specs T-Bolt. Oh, they have a special defense boost, so no, I don't know if it'll KO. But they're also intimidated, so they really shouldn't do damage to us in return. I mean, is there any reason to not... No, I think it's always Glide Dracovish and T-Bolt into Tyranitar. Yeah, we just want to lock ourselves into Glide. Yep, there's the switch. Okay, good. I don't think my opponent really has an out here, unless you're Celesteela, and they don't have Protect on Dracovish, so yeah, they definitely don't have an out. Nice. Okay, we had a really good early lead here. My opponent made a really nice play turn 1. Wasn't expecting that. We did dodge a Snarl, which was kind of fortunate. In the long run, in terms of the damage calcs that came out in this game, it wasn't relevant, but of course, you know, it might have changed how my opponent would have played that match if they hit that initial Snarl. I felt pretty good about our position, though, after turn 1 still, because we got that defense drop on a Celesteela, meaning that Celesteela had to switch out. It was not going to be a Dynamax threat, and the main thing was that my opponent did not have strong Dynamax options in this early game, which meant that Spectre could really just, like, roll through. So, TDR comes back out, but we know it's not Scarfed, it's Revealed Protect, so we can just Glide and T-Bolt, and that should be a game. Glide alone might just pick up the KO here. So, not bad. Yeah, I didn't even think about the option of Dracovish maxing. That was really cool. But, you know, the upside was that they didn't KO the Spectre that turn until I got the Phantasm off, and getting that single Phantasm off was just so good for us. So, we had a really early lead, but definitely a fortunate dodge against that Entei on turn 1. Wow, and that just one-shots Tyranitar. Rillaboom's so good. It's interesting because Rillaboom is like seeing a resurgence in the metagame. So, nice. I think, once again, you can see how Spectrier sets up its partners with this team for success, right? Like, getting those defense drops is super, super valuable. And it is just immensely helpful to be able to set yourself up for the late game, because this team has a decent amount of priority as well, either with, I mean, mainly from the Rillaboom, but obviously you have Aqua Jet from Urshifu as well as Fake Out from the Incineroar. And, I mean, obviously Fake Out's not really used offensively most of the time, but after a single defense drop from a more offensive Incineroar, like, against a non-Dynamax Pokemon, it actually does a sizable amount, right? So, you have a bunch of ways to really just set up the physical Pokemon on this team for success in the end game. So, yeah. But that was a really good turn 1 play on my opponent's end. I really thought, like, I think we had a really good matchup there. And turn 1, like, I don't regret making that play, because once again, the worst case is, yeah, you get Spectrier to -1. And even then, it's like, we're still in a pretty good position, right? Because, like, Celesteal, I can't Dynamax. But I wonder if my opponent just led, like, they needed to get Dracovish in maybe a little sooner. Maybe if they just led Dracovish, that could have been scary. So Sandrush Dracovish is pretty interesting. I think there's some downsides to it, because as you saw, like, my opponent, you know, set up the rain, and by setting up the rain, you get rid of your own sand, and that's not very good. And when you get rid of your own sand, obviously you're slower. In that endgame, because Rillaboom had this priority damage anyway, it didn't really end up mattering, but Grassy Glide Rillaboom is just so good. Okay, this feels like a 2013 team, just with Urshifu and Fini, but you got Thundurus, Garchomp, Crest, Heatran. I actually used all of those in my 2013 team, and 2012. So, that's fun. They just need a Landorus T and a Tyranitar now. Not Landorus T, sorry. Scizor. Scizor, Hitmontop, Tyranitar, Rotom Wash. Any combination of that. Okay, Spectre's not bad here, but the one thing I have to worry about is Thundurus, because I don't want to activate Defiant, potentially. Lecky feels interesting here, right? Because it does a lot of damage into the majority of my opponent's team, but Garchomp's the one thing he has to respect. So, Thundurus is kind of a big problem, in my opinion. I don't know if I can just, like, nuke it immediately. I'm thinking Regieleki, Spectrier, Clefairy. Do I really bring Rillaboom? It's just that, like, Heatran is such a problem. Intimidate's really not that great here, but Close Combat is actually decent, as well as Assurance. But I think against a Garchomp and an Urshifu, it's probably not it. It's between Rillaboom and Urshifu here. Leaning a little bit towards Rillaboom. Oh, sorry, Urshifu this time around. Especially because of the Heatran, potentially. Yeah, I like the idea of having Sash, because Rillaboom is awful against the Dynamax Thundurus. So, I expect my opponent to max Thundurus in this matchup. Yeah, that's a cool team. I think a Thundurus lead is really scary. Just because of the fact that you're able to put on a lot of offensive pressure right from the start. Thundurus and Garchomp. Okay. Thundurus, Garchomp. That's really interesting because you can only Dynamax one of these two. So presumably you Dynamax Thundurus, right? Maybe it's just... I don't know. I feel okay going for, like, Volt Switch into Phantasm here. I guess the one problem is if your Thundurus just protects this Garchomp Earthquakes. That's a possibility. It could be Scarfchomp here, too. Okay, this is a little bit risky, then. But I think it works out a lot of the time. I don't know. I can't lead Incineroar into this team. Like, you just can't give Defiant Thundurus a boost. Okay, we Dynamax first. What else? I don't know, Clef Spectrier? But that doesn't do... Like, I want to put on a lot of offensive pressure against my opponent's team because they put on so much pressure from the start. So I want to match that pressure. Because if not, then they can just kind of, like, steamroll us in the early game, and I don't want that. But having an Alecki out against Garchomp is never good. Oh, it's this Eerie Impulse stuff again. Oh. Okay. How much of a problem is this actually, though? That almost just one-shots Thundurus. Ah, wow. Eerie Impulse Thundurus is really picking up in usage, and that is a very interesting trend. At the end of the day, it's actually not that bad. I mean, Garchomp probably SDs here. Who do they have in the back? Let's see. It's Thundurus, Garchomp, Cresselia, Heatran, Fini. Cresselia, Heatran, Fini. And Urshifu, right? Do I bring out Clef or Urshifu here? Because, like, if I bring out Urshifu, I immediately put on more offensive pressure, but I potentially lose a Focus Sash if they Earthquake. I don't know if I like the idea of losing Focus Sash this early on, so I'm going to go into Clefairy. The thing is, Clefairy actually does damage into Garchomp with Dazzle as well. It might be a Swords Dance from their end. That's definitely a possibility. Okay. I mean, at least we knock out Thundurus and we get a defense drop on a Garchomp. Like, those are good things. Although now I wish I had Rillaboom a little bit more, because that would have been better against the 1v1 Garchomp matchup. But I don't regret having Urshifu in the back. I think that's still a decent Pokemon here. Question is whether or not they opted for a Swords Dance. I think that'd make a lot of sense here. No, they just Earthquake. Okay. That's a decent turn for us. Then I'll take it. And they're Life Orb, too. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I mean, switching an Urshifu there would have just taken so much damage. So, that's not a bad turn. Eerie Impulse Thundurus, though. Yeah, it's, like, that's the cool thing about Thundurus, and it's cool that people were able to, like, build this set, because Thundurus in this format up to now has just been so often, it's just been so frequently, what am I trying to say? Offensive, right? So it's like, people don't really see it coming. I think it's just Helping Hand Phantasm here into Crest. If they're not Cassette Berry, it should still one-shot. We're at -1. Actually, they might survive. Let's see. Oh, they're just Helping Hand with Crest. Okay. I mean, I feel like this is a decent trade for us, right? Trading Cresselia for... I mean, even if the... Oh, they are actually Ghost Resist. Interesting. I'm surprised they didn't Trick Room there then, actually. Yeah, we would have KO'd if they didn't have the berry. Yeah, that's interesting because I think Dark Resist is really common for all the Urshifus that are running around. I think I'll probably want to Max Strike this next turn to lower Garchomp's speed. Because I have not Feeny. Urshifu in the back, right? So I can just Surging Strikes. KO's Clef, but that's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think it's super safe to go out into Urshifu here, right? I guess the only problem is I don't know if I one-shot with Max Strike onto Cresselia, but I think it's fine. My only fear now is Ally Switch, actually. But I think it's going to be just Max Strike, Surging Strikes here. So let's see. What am I worried about here? An Ally Switch, a Trick Room. Ally Switch is actually probably my biggest fear. Cresselia hanging on, honestly, isn't even that scary, because I can just Aqua Jet, pick up the KO the subsequent turn after that defense drop. But yeah, this Eerie Impulse Thundurus tech is really interesting. It's worked out quite nicely against us. Although, I mean, we won against it last time we played, right? But that was off the power of, what was the Pokemon we were using? Regular Moltres, right? Yeah. My opponent does have their Dynamax still. Ooh, good switch. Good switch. That's Heatran coming in. So unless you Ally Switched here, yeah, they didn't Ally Switch, so I think we win. Although Phantasm would have guaranteed us the game, but I don't regret striking. They will survive that, though. Okay. Is that a problem? I don't think so because of the Aqua Jet pressure. Like, we probably just KO Heatran here, right? Oh, but you can Dynamax Garchomp now. Maybe that is a problem. Yeah, actually, because I have Focus Sash... Yeah, because I'm Sashed, I think just Phantasm Surging Strikes is always better. Because what am I worried about from Garchomp's end? Not much, right? But do you set up Trick Room now? Because like, if you do, we might just outspeed with the Urshifu. Ooh, Icy Wind. Yeah, I might actually lose to Garchomp now because I didn't pick up that KO onto Cress. Nice switch. That was not a possibility I was reading into. Now, Garchomp will outspeed us, and they can Dynamax, and they're faster. So that's actually really well played. Had we just picked up the KO, I think we had enough damage output in this endgame, but now having Regieleki in the back punishes me, right? -1 speed. I mean, I think it's always just sack Regieleki. This thing literally cannot touch Garchomp, so that's a start. But Helping Hand Earthquake kind of demolishes me now. Yeah, that was a really good switch. Yeah, I shouldn't have been so confident on picking up a KO there with Max Strike. I go for Helping Hand. We protect. Yeah, I think Phantasm Surging Strikes was always the better play. Because I have the Focus Sash. I just, like, didn't want the, That was, yeah, I didn't fully think that through. I didn't want Regieleki, sorry, the Spectrier to faint, but I don't care about Spectrier fainting if I KO Garchomp, right? Because it gives me a free switch into Regieleki. Regieleki Urshifu should beat anything on my opponent's end, so I think we would have had this wrapped up if I just went for Phantasm and Surging Strikes rather than the Max Strike. But I was reading into my opponent staying in with the Garchomp, and potentially even Dynamaxing that. Okay, so we around Spectrier now. Man, is there any way in which we win this? If you're my opponent, I mean, do you just Helping Hand Earthquake? No, I think that's kind of troll. I think you actually have to Dynamax Garchomp now. Dynamax Garchomp. Who else? Who do you target is the other question. This is still definitely winnable. I think I Shadow Ball into Cresselia. Surging Strikes. I don't know about that. Yeah, they do Dynamax Garchomp here. That was really good conservation of a Dynamax. The Icy Wind was smart too. And they were Ghost Resist Berry, so that was a little unfortunate. But I think, like I said, if I just Phantasmed... if I Phantasm there and Garchomp maxes... Yeah, I have the Sash, so then you'd be at -2 defense. But then if you have Rough Skin, actually, maybe... No, but then you don't knock out the Spectrier. Interesting, they didn't Helping Hand. You still one-shot us, though, with the Max Strike, or sorry, Max Wormwind, right? So unless you're, like, Adamant here and I'm faster for some reason, it still should be GG. We should win this one. There's one more hit in us. Yeah, they're faster. Wait, Rockfall? I guess that makes sense. Might as well set up the stand, right? Because, like, yeah, Intimidate's not really valuable. But now there's a potential win con in which we get a double protect into an Aqua Jet to just KO Garchomp. I wonder if I could have just Aqua Jetted Crest there, Shadow Ball to Garchomp instead. Oh, that's still little damage. Yeah, never mind. It's a bulky Garchomp, wow. Rillaboom would have probably been a little bit better in this endgame for us. I think I brought the right Pokemon, though, and I had a good enough lead, too. I just didn't execute well in this game. Like, the 4 that I brought was not the problem. I just didn't see the Eerie Impulse coming out, too, on turn 1. That was really nice. The Helping Hand, like, the Crest set was very good as well. Good support. Okay, let me just think it out. Well, okay. I think the win con is a double... can I survive a Life Orb Wormwind, actually? Actually, if I just get the double... if I get the double protect off, Earthquake will still KO us. I just don't think Surging Strikes KO. Maybe Surging Strikes into an Aqua Jet does pick up the KO, and we survive a Life Orb more. Yeah, I don't think with Life Orb, I don't think so. If they weren't Life Orb, probably not. Or you can Quake too, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, either works. Okay, that Rockfall was actually really smart. Wow. Yeah, at first I was confused. I was like, why set up the stand? But why not set up the stand is actually a better question. I actually missed the Garchomp. Okay, well, that'll be GG then. I don't think we would have KO'd there, to be honest. I think we needed like maybe 10% more damage onto it to get the win there. But ultimately, well played by my opponent. I should have just gone Phantasm onto Cresselia there. I was thinking Strike would pick up the KO, so I thought that was like a super safe play, but yeah. I've already pointed out my mistake enough in this one. Is there a world in which Strike is better? Because it doesn't matter if Garchomp outspeeds us, right? I really don't think it does. Because we are faster with... We have the Focus Sash, so even if you bring us down to our Sash, it doesn't matter. And Urshifu plus Regieleki beat anything in the back. So the priority should have been to just, yeah, pick up a double KO that turn. So I didn't utilize my momentum enough on that specific turn. But that's a good lesson to learn, I think. Because that's a really fixable mistake. It was just one turn where it was like a suboptimal decision. Didn't we go up against this team the other day? I feel like we did. Maybe it was in a practice game, though. I don't remember if it was on Road to Ranked. I definitely remember seeing that combination of Pokemon, though. Okay, so Tailwind is a big problem here, right? As is the... Cortana. But I have Incineroar for Fake Out, at least. Maybe it's Instant Spectrier, then. Instant Spectrier. Man, Regieleki does decent damage here. Rillaboom's not that great. Also sets up terrain for Cortana, which isn't ideal. I think I like Instant Spectrier. Maybe just full offense with Regieleki and Urshifu here. The one downside is, like, I like having either redirection support from Clefairy or Fake Out pressure from Rillaboom. Man, I'm still thinking about that last match, because, like, I felt like it was just going so well until... Yeah, the conservation of Garchomp was just really smart. I am curious if Surging Strikes would have been able to pick up the KO there. It was close, but I do think Garchomp would have hung on with just a little bit of HP. Maybe close combat. No, close combat was never the play in the first one. The first turn, because, yeah, it just lowers our stats. Also, maybe Shadow Ball would have done more into Garchomp, so I could have Aqua Jetted Cresselia, Shadow Balled into the Garchomp. I don't know if Shadow Ball does more there. And the reason I Shadow Ball Crest was so that I can get a special attack boost in case they target the Urshifu there. Was a close one, though. Tornadus and Incineroar. Okay, that works for me. I mean, Spectrier is not in terrible shape here. I mean, the question is whether or not you have Protect on Tornadus. It's kind of hard to fit Protect. We're faster, by the way, which is really good. Because I think it's just... I really want to just fake out Phantasm turn 1. Fake out... I wonder if Shadow Ball just KOs. This is so obvious. There's no way you just give it to me, right? But who can they switch into? Urshifu at best? I think I'm just gonna go for it. We'll see how it plays out. If they have Protect, so be it, but then I can pick up a double KO the next turn, because I can just Phantasm Tornadus close combat. If I pick up a double KO, that's not bad. Maybe Clefairy would have been good for us here, but I like my lead, because I was expecting the Tornadus lead. I think this is probably our best lead to be... Oh, no. We had one better lead than this if I'm expecting Tornadus, which is Incineroar plus Regieleki. Yeah, they switch out. Okay, that's a good switch. Yep, it is Urshifu. So they did bring out what I said was the worst case here. And we're probably going to get Parting Shotted. Yeah. That's a good switch. Maybe Max Strike would have been better, because that covers most switch-ins, right? And lowering speed is kind of valuable here. But so far, they brought in 3 Pokemon that are, like, my Water Urshifu does a decent job against. I wouldn't think Fake Out plus Life Orb Phantasm KOs here, but let's see. If it does, that'd be huge. Because the problem now is if you did Parting Shot, right? Yeah, it hangs on with a bit. Okay, it's not great. Especially because I didn't bring Clefairy, so I expected that switch. I didn't know what the better play was there, like, but it's probably Max Strike. Obviously, you could switch into Cortana, but, like, whatever. Yeah, Parting Shot comes out. I also could have gone Fake Out Max Quake into Incineroar, but then you still get Banded Urshifu, and that's kind of scary. Now, this next turn is interesting. You probably bring out Tornadus, right? You just click Tailwind, but then what do you do with Urshifu? Do you target the Spectrier slot, or do you target Incin, reading the Spectrier Protect? Yeah, there's Tornadus back out. How do you Dynamax in this game, too, is the other question. Yeah, I'm honestly leaning towards just a close combat. Well, I don't need to reveal close combat, right? Flare Blitz and Max Guard. If they read into the Max Guard and they knock out Incineroar, I at least get my Urshifu in for free. I can Aqua Jet. Let's see. Yeah, so there's Tailwind. If we pick up the knockout onto the Urshifu, that'd actually be huge. Good read. That's a very good read. And it's a pretty safe one to make too, but the thing is I'm fairly confident you're Choice Banded, which means now you're locked into close combat. I guess you could be Focus Sash. I shouldn't eliminate that possibility. It's just that I had an opportunity to attack there. But I can just go out into my Urshifu now. If you're my opponent, I think you probably switch out Urshifu. Oh, maybe you even just stay in. I don't know. Who do you Dynamax is the other question, I guess. I think it's just Phantasm. Oh, no. Now you can switch out the Tornadus into Incineroar. They might just stay in with Urshifu here. I mean, even if you're Choice Banded, you can just stay in and attack. I could Protect here with Urshifu, but it's kind of risky in front of my opponent's Urshifu. But I really could see a world, like, I don't know. I'm leaning towards just Aqua Jet plus Phantasming here. I also don't know, I don't know if Max Strike one-shots Tornadus from the range that it's at. Yeah, they switch out Urshifu. This was a game where, like, I felt like I could see most of my opponent's plays, but still didn't feel super confident. Like, Surging Strikes would have been really nice there. But I think this is still maybe okay, because I can just double Protect this next turn. They're getting whittled away, and I just don't know who you Dynamax right now on my opponent's end. Like, I've been making relatively safe plays because I feel like I can get away with it. And the Icy Wind, okay. So, I see. They're just setting themselves up for a free switch in and then just Dynamax and go from there, which makes a lot of sense. Really good close combat read onto me. Let's say that was... Oh, and that doesn't even one-shot. That actually may work in our favor, to be honest. Because now I can just double protect, and then now I have 2 Pokemon that do a lot of damage into your slots. I guess Tornadus probably switches out, though, right? That's a high possibility. Tailwind is just so tough to play around. 2 turns of Tailwind left, though, which is decent. What to do here? I'm honestly leaning towards Protect and then switch Spectre out into Regieleki, but I might get hit by a Dark-type attack there. If you're my opponent, like, you could just switch Tornadus into what your last one is going to be. And that's probably going to be the Pokemon you want to Dynamax, right? It's just that Protect is so obvious here. But I think it's maybe still okay to play obvious. But if I could just nail something on a switch in, that'd be sick. Yeah, I'm just double protecting here, but they might switch out Tornadus. Okay, they don't. That's actually good. Yeah, it's actually a really big deal, I think. Because now I can just Aqua Jet Tornadus and switch out Spectre into Regieleki. They just Icy Wind again. Interesting. So at least the upside is my opponent hasn't gotten like a ton of damage across the board yet. And it's the Darkest Lariat. Okay. Well, it's the last turn of Tailwind. If you're my opponent, actually what they should do is switch out Tornadus here, so then they get another Tailwind up. That's actually the correct play. Actually, if they go for that, then I'm in a really bad position, right? Tailwind's up, plus I'm at -1 speed, so I'm taking a ton of damage here. There's no way you just let me Aqua Jet you. I think I'm going to just try to KO Incineroar or bring out... do I? I don't think I do. Even though I think it's obvious they're going to switch out here, I'm still just going to go for this play. Because if I KO Incineroar, I give them Tornadus back out, should they switch out, which means they can just Tailwind again. That's really bad. But they conserve the Tornadus really well in this game. That's pretty bulky, too. I thought Life Orb Phantasm would definitely one-shot it. Yeah, there's the switch. So it's like, while I knew this switch was coming... Cortana's the last one, okay. Oh, this is actually really interesting now, though, because I do have Electro Web, right? And Electro Web does really well into the rest of my opponent's team. It's just that was a turn to close combat into Tornadus, actually. Yeah, that was a read I should have made. I should have 100% made that, because I knew Tornadus was switching out, and you have to have Cortana as your last one. So they're going to Lariat, which is fine. I mean, that's not the concern. Unless it KOs us? Yeah, it doesn't KO. Okay. So Tailwind is gone, which is the upside here. No, I'm not trying to run here. This is tough. I think that last turn, I really should have close combated into Tornadus. That was a pretty easy read to make, and I didn't go for it. If you're my opponent, you Dynamax Cortana, and you max Airstream Urshifu, I think. And Parting Shot, right? I'm leaning towards switch Spectrier. Webs. Yeah, maybe it was Protector Urshifu. I should have just KO'd the Cortana. I think like it would have been better for them to have switched out into Urshifu. It was a little risky to switch out Cortana because that's their main win condition at this point in the game. So, let's see. But I think Cortana does really well into me now because I don't have Incineroar anymore. Which is why they were prioritizing KOing it earlier. And that was a pretty safe read to make, so well done on their end. This one was tough, though, because it's like, even though I knew a lot of my opponent's plays, it's not like I had a foolproof play that could cover their switches because of how hyper-offensive their team is. And that's kind of what made this matchup so scary. Unless they messed up here and didn't Parting Shot for some reason. Because if you don't Parting Shot, you don't get the free switch into the Tornadus. Not knocking out Tornadus actually is really going to cost us here, unfortunately. Kind of needed that KO. Because now my opponent can just set up another Tailwind. Because if Tornadus went down, Regieleki kind of cleans up this game. Yeah, they correctly went for Parting Shot. Okay, well done. Now you bring out Tornadus, you just click Tailwind. Tailwind Overgrowth into Regieleki is a really safe play. How bulky does Tornadus have to be to survive a Phantasm like that? That's impressive. That is impressive. Yeah, I feel like this game and the last one, I just had one better play to make on one turn, and that would have paid off huge dividends, but I didn't make those plays. Because there was no way Tornadus was ever staying in there. I don't even know if this has a flying type attack, to be honest, if they were going for Icy Wind earlier. So now if you're my opponent, the correct play is to Tailwind and max Overgrowth like Regieleki. I mean, I think I'm playing for a throw at this point, right? I don't think I can win off any play that I can make proactively. Unless I outspeed Kartana, even at +1 speed. But I don't think I do. Hold on, they airstreamed. That... maybe. Oh, no. It doesn't give us a shot. Because, yeah. We don't outspeed because they're just boosting up their speed back up again, right? Actually? Well, hold on. I mean, I'll KO Tornadus here. We know they have Urshifu as the last one. I can Aqua Jet the Urshifu. No, but I can't beat the Cortana 1v1, I don't think. Which is why I needed to close combat it on the switch in. And why I didn't need to, you know, lose Incineroar the way I did. But, I don't know. That turn was like, I didn't have a safe switch it into the close combat. And if I lose Spectrier there, I just like outright lose. Whereas like I was like, okay, even if you make the correct prediction and I get the switch in, it's still okay. But maybe it wasn't so okay given... wait, Instant. They still have Instant. Never mind. Yeah, this is definitely over. Do I have any outs here? No, I don't think so. Because there's no way I'm stalling out Tailwind. You just fake out Regieleki, max Airstream. Yeah, this was just really well played by my opponent. Okay, I mean, I can always hope for them to, like, misclick and target Urshifu, or Regieleki for some reason, so I guess I'll play it out, but yeah, it's not really much we can do. The Airstream negating the E-Webs also hurts us in this. Fake out Urshifu. And probably Overgrowth. Yeah, that makes sense. I needed to close combat. I mean, it wouldn't have KO'd Cortana, but it would have done enough that, like, the webs afterwards would have picked up the KO. So, just good execution by my opponent. Like, props to them. Really, really well played. Yeah, Tailwind is tricky just because you don't have, like, definitive plays to make. Like, it's kind of read-based, and it's tough because, like I said, I thought I saw... I mean, I saw a lot of my opponent's plays coming, but even then, I didn't feel super safe. I think I needed to maybe conserve Incineroar for the Cortana specifically. Turn 1, I could have just gone Fake Out Max Quake. Tornadus being as bulky as it is was kind of surprising. I think Clefairy may have helped us in this one as well. I don't think Rillaboom was it. So I think the Pokemon we brought were actually fine. If I were to replay this, maybe I would lead Incineroar plus Regieleki, actually. Yeah, with Spectrier and Urshifu in the back. I think that's what I would do differently. Because the Spectrier lead wasn't super good into what my opponent brought, especially if I'm not one-shotting Tornadus. My expectation was to one-shot with Phantasm. So I actually want to do that damage calc because that was not something I was expecting at all. Tornadus, like how bulky do you have to be to survive Spectre Max? Yeah, from Modest Life Orb too. That's really bulky, right? Might have been sashed anyway though, but... Oh, what? Oh, I got Pardon Shotted, right? Yeah, that's why. Wait, did I get Pardon Shotted? I think so, right? Onto Spectrier, the turn that I Phantasmed? I'm fairly confident I did. That would be the explanation. So then it's a damage roll, one that's more in my opponent's favor if they're not bulky. Yeah, there's no way you ever survive this on, like, unless you're max... Yeah. Unless you're max Spadef. That's the only way. Well played by my opponent, though. I thought they executed that game really, really well. So, props to them. I think I don't know. I know it can be frustrating sometimes as a viewer to watch me, like, call out their plays, but then not, like, play reactively to the specific play I'm calling out. And the main reason is because sometimes the risk versus reward just isn't worth it. But I think in this game, the biggest play was the Cortana, like, Tornadus switching out into Cortana. Like, I think it was risky for my opponent to go for that. I think they should have just switched out into Urshifu, sack Urshifu, bring Tornadus back in, Tailwind, and then your Cortana just sweeps through me at that point in the game. So, should have prioritized KOing Tornadus. Letting it get a second Tailwind was the death sentence in this game, so I needed to knock it out sooner. Turn 1 was also not great for us. Yeah, we were parting shot, right? They parting shot in his Spectre on turn 1, so yeah. I should have remembered that as well. But, fun set of games, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks as always for watching. Leave a like if you did, and I will catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.